This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
And good evening to you at 7 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. The honeymoon is over and the first real snow of 2020 is now falling in parts of central Indiana.
And it is a Storm Team 6 alert day with a winter weather advisory now in effect. We have Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory here tracking it all for you. Hey, Kevin.
We're out of practice. It's been 30 days since we've had any measurable snowfall. This won't amount to a lot, but I think in combination snow and some freezing rain, that's why we've got the advisory. And we wait. I'm showing you Vigo County. This is Terre Haute. No visible snow there yet. I think that will change very shortly, and I'll show you why on the radar. What we're doing is just waiting for the atmosphere to become saturated in the mid-levels in the clouds. We are picking up the precip, but it's not reaching the ground. But I think that changes very quickly. As you can see, Terre Haute to near Rockfield to Sullivan, at any moment I think you'll begin to see some snow, and we may see a little wintry mix with some sleet in there and then eventually some freezing rain. But notice these temperatures. 33 now in Bloomington, that's critical. 32 in Columbus and Terre Haute. Temperatures may fall a degree or so with the onset of the snow, and then overnight warm up. 8 o'clock this evening, we begin to see a little bit of snow in central Indiana. This lifts to the north, but I think the more widespread that will have an impact will come in overnight tonight. All of this pink represents a very light freezing rain that sweeps to the north and east. When we wake up Saturday morning, that should be pretty much out of the state. By 8 a.m., this is all widespread rainfall, in some cases moderate rain. Here's the modest amounts then of freezing rain, less than 1/10 of an inch, and the snowfall inch or less. This will melt off. If you're patient, I think the rain will wash that away, and temperatures overnight will gradually warm. So around the freezing mark at midnight tonight, but by 8 a.m. temperatures at 40. That's not our high tomorrow, but we'll talk about the big temperature swings ahead coming up.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. And no matter what time the snow hits where you live, you can count on the interstates being ready and pre-treated. That's because INDOT has had crews out treating the roads since Thursday, putting down salt brine on the roads for the snow to rain mix headed our way. And the full 55 driver crew hit the roads just a little while ago, around 6. INDOT says because we haven't had snow in a while, it gave them time to get the drivers and trucks completely prepped and give on-call crews a little break.
The drivers are ready. All of our on-call drivers are ready. You know, they haven't been called in, so that fatigue isn't there. Like last year where we were calling them in every single weekend for snow or ice or what have you. So they're ready to go.
And this evening, INDOT crews hit the interstates in a final round of brine treatment, paying particular attention to bridges and overpasses. They tend to ice up more quickly due to the lack of ground below to absorb temperature.
The state is creating a brand new adoption unit to help get more kids adopted in Indiana. The Department of Child Services facilitated nearly 2,500 adoptions last year.
But Governor Holcomb says he wants to better organize how the agency handles those adoptions. Call 6 Investigates Stephanie Wade talks to the head of DCS about their new efforts.
There are 1,400 children right now in Indiana just waiting to be adopted. And the director of DCS tells me their caseworkers are just overloaded, so she's adding more jobs to create a brand new adoption unit.
So this unit will help to relieve a lot of that so that the family case managers in the field at the front line can really focus on safety and permanency for the children that we have open cases for.
Governor Holcomb announced at his State of the State address that they're creating a new adoption branch within the Department of Child Services. Terry Stigdon, the director of DCS, says the same family case managers that were working with the children throughout the case were also helping find them an adoptive family. Now they're separating the roles to make the process more efficient. They're hiring for 14 positions within the unit that will help with marketing, recruiting families, assessing if the child and family are ready, and bring awareness to the need for adoption. Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
And parts of the city are about to get brighter and safer. Indianapolis City County Councilor Jared Evans says several locations are receiving new streetlights. South Norfolk Street, Manhattan Street, and Biltmore Avenue are just a few examples that are getting better street lighting. Those new lights should be installed within the next 8 weeks. City leaders say if your street needs new or better lights, they want to know so you can be put on the list. We put the link to where you can submit a streetlight request in this story on the RTV6 mobile app. And police and community members are pushing to increase safety in one bustling Hamilton County community.
Noblesville police officers have increased their presence in downtown in recent weeks. There's over-congestion, but we're also hearing about a lot of bad driver behavior, running stop signs, running red lights, speeding. One resident we talked to has lived in Noblesville for 35 years. He says at times it's downright frightening to walk around downtown.
It's almost scary to be a pedestrian downtown because people running red lights, driving too fast, and trying to walk. Even if you're in the crosswalk, you kind of take your life in your own hands by doing that. And you really have to be not just a defensive driver, but a defensive walker.
As a result, Noblesville PD upped its rush hour presence. Officers say they hope when drivers see more of them, it reminds them to maintain a 20-mile-per-hour speed and not run red lights. They also want pedestrians to stay aware of your surroundings and cross on crosswalks only.
New today, a slight drop in week-to-week flu deaths in Indiana, but it's not slowing down by much. The second week of 2020 saw 9 flu-related deaths in our state, bringing the total to 31 people who have died so far this flu season. About half of those people were over the age of 65. Indiana health officials continue to warn the flu is still being spread around. They are urging you to get your flu shot, either to prevent the spread of the flu or to lessen the symptoms if you do get it.
And these new flu numbers and that warning come as RTV6 shares the story of a local family who had a very close call with the flu. 13-year-old Josh Roy has been at Riley Hospital for Children since October, recovering from a case of the flu that nearly killed him. He had to be airlifted to the hospital and was on life support for 54 days. The nurses and paramedics on Josh's Lifeline flight says everyone can learn something from his story.
I felt really bad. I mean, really felt for his mom and his family in that situation because it seemed like such a sudden onset of this illness.
We can take lots of flights, but just the younger kids kind of stick in your head a little bit more.
We really appreciate you guys. I mean, without you guys, we probably wouldn't have a son.
Josh's mom actually had already had an appointment set up just 1 week after he got sick for him to get his flu shot. Doctors say he caught the virus way earlier than most people, and it's not too late for you to get yours. If not at the doctor, then at an urgent care or pharmacy.
Still to come here on RTV6, it's killed multiple people in China, but you may not even heard of it yet. How the CDC is preparing for this new virus coming up.
But first, it's a popular program for some, but others are now asking this Indiana city to stop allowing these TV crews to film there. Why there's an outcry against live PD. Next, when the news at 7 continues on RTV6. Now at 7 on RTV6, opposition is becoming more vocal to the program Live PD in one Indiana city, and people are hoping it leaves town.
The Greater Terre Haute branch of the NAACP is asking the city to end its contract with A&E Networks, the police show, which follows police officers around the nation in near real time.
The group says, quote, televising individuals at unfortunate and often embarrassing moments in their lives in an attempt to exploit their hardships as entertainment takes unfair advantage of them when they are most vulnerable and most in need of privacy. The NAACP sent the letter to the mayor and police chief asking them to end the partnership with the show.
Teacher pay, gun laws, and the phrase, "In God We Trust."
A lot happened at the Indiana State House this week. At RTV6's Ray Steele is working to make sure you don't miss anything that could affect your life.
This week started with
the state of our state is stronger than ever.
Governor Holcomb did mention teacher pay during his State of the State speech. His plan? Transfer money from the state's budget surplus to the Teacher Retirement Fund. He says that would free up $50 million a year for local school districts, which they could use, if they so choose, to boost the salaries of teachers. It's similar to a plan offered by State Senate Democrats last week. The difference? Holcomb wants to wait until next year, a budget year. Democrats don't want to wait.
So, you know, I was waiting for the big surprise, or the surprise, which I thought for sure was going to be that he found a way to get teachers a pay increase this year. But no surprise. you still have to wait.
The unanswered question, will this be enough to bring thousands of teachers back to the State House to push for a raise before lawmakers finish their session less than 2 months from now? The state Senate overwhelmingly passed a bill that could keep guns out of the hands of teenage felons until long after they become adults. This bill would close a loophole that, for example, could impact the student who opened fire at Noblesville West Middle School. Let's say he has his record expunged after he turns 18. That means he would immediately be able to buy a gun. The bill that passed would bar a juvenile felon from having a gun until reaching at least age 26, and if it's a more serious juvenile crime, age 28. Republican Senator Dennis Cruz is again pushing a bill to mandate the display of this, the phrase, "In God We Trust," in every public and charter school classroom, and to make the schools pay for it. Senator Cruz did this last year, too. You may recall in the past, Cruz has also pushed to mandate the teaching of biblical creationism in science classes and to bar public school teachers from talking about sexuality, including sexual orientation and gender identity. This is a priority for conservative religious groups, and it is an election year, so we'll watch this one closely. There's much more from RTV6 State House correspondent Matt McKinney right now at theindychannel.com. Working for you with State House Roundup, Ray Steele, RTV6.
With all of this winter weather, it's the perfect time to introduce you to NASA's new tool to forecast snowstorms, taking you inside the snow chase. Still ahead. Kevin.
And we'll track the snow and wintry mix for tonight, but I want to make sure you know the big change starts tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures hit rock bottom on Sunday. We'll talk about how cold coming up.
The Cruncher Chicken Sandwiches. Get rallies delivered.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
New today, the CDC says it is prepared for the coronavirus, a respiratory illness that has already killed 2 people in China.
The CDC says it is teaming up with Customs and Border Patrol to catch possible cases at airports. The plan involves enhanced health screenings on flights from Wuhan City, China, along with other measures.
According to the CDC, cases from China have already spread to Thailand and Japan. Even though the CDC issued this warning, it says the threat to the American public is low and that it's just taking precautions.
A huge winter storm carves its way across the U.S., leaving behind tons of snow and ice.
The intense snow falling from Washington and the Pacific Northwest all the way down to New Mexico and east to the Great Plains. They got several feet of snow in parts of Washington state. Iowa is also digging out, and today the snow's been falling in the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Significant icing could become a problem, too, across portions of Missouri and Illinois. So, Kevin, how is Indiana going to fare in all of this?
On the light side of everything, yeah.
That's a good thing, a blessing for us.
We catch the mild side, basically, and that's where we'll see our ½ to inch of rain tomorrow, and then the moisture leaves us that plunge of Arctic air. Okay, Chicago's into the action, too, as far as accumulating snow, so if you are driving to the north and west anytime first thing in the morning or overnight tonight, you've got some issues to deal with. The more north you go. Storm system pulls away. Canadian high pressure moves in, and that's going to send our temperatures in some cases into the single digits outside of the metro area. But I've got Indy temperatures down to 12 Sunday morning, 13 Monday, still in the teens on Tuesday. We've had some reports in Vigo County of some sleet. That's the leading edge of the moisture arriving. I think we'll see some light snow as well. A period of freezing rain before it changes to all rain as we get into the overnight hours and first thing in the morning on Saturday. There's your advisory from Terre Haute to Spencer, then from Martinsville through Franklin, Shelbyville, Rushville, over to Connorsville and Liberty to the north. As you look at the radar now, as I've mentioned, most of this not reaching the ground. It's just kind of saturating mid-levels. It'll take a little bit longer, but from Terre Haute to Sullivan Southwest, I think that's reaching the ground. This will move to the east, northeast, increasing our chances for some snow, mixing with sleet at times. What will happen the next few hours, the wind will strengthen. It's out of the east, southeast. It will come around to the southeast. That will allow warmer temperatures to be drawn into the state and eventually change everything over to all rain. 9 o'clock tonight, there's your patchy area of snow and some sleet. As we get later tonight, this would be after 11, you see the more widespread light freezing rain moving into central Indiana. While you're sleeping, that continues to stay on the move to the north and east. We'll wake up. This is all just widespread rain as temperatures will be solidly in the upper 30s to around 40. A quick burst of warmth to 47 by midday. Then temperatures start falling. We'll only be at 19 on Sunday. Tomorrow, the rain, the falling temperatures will all come with winds that will gust 30 to 40 miles per hour. There's your widespread rain, 7 a.m. We take it through 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's probably the period of heaviest rainfall. In the afternoon, as the colder air arrives, it's drier as well. Could see a couple of flurries or snow showers later in the day. Rainfall potential anywhere from ½ an inch to an inch tomorrow. 7-day planner, we're dry Sunday, very cold, 19, 13 on Monday morning, still in the low 20s for a high. Monday, gradually warmer each day. We keep stepping it up a bit. We'll be back in the 40s next Thursday, 46 next Friday. This too will become a memory.
Before you know it.
Yeah.
Just got to get through it safely.
Thanks for that.
Well, now Kevin and Storm Team 6 use the best tools we can get our hands on to create your forecast, and now even newer technology is helping scientists forecast snowstorms.
Yeah, Maya Rodriguez shows us a unique plane known as the Snow Chaser. Pretty to look at, but at times treacherous to encounter.
Pretty to look at, but at times treacherous to encounter. When snowstorms wreak havoc on the ground, it can come with a cost.
Snow can have a huge economic impact.
Yet, because of limited research, snowstorms are not as well understood as other weather phenomenon, like where tornado outbreaks might happen or where hurricanes might make landfall. But that's about to change. Inside this noisy hangar at NASA's Wallops Island facility in Virginia sits a specifically outfitted P-3 aircraft, also known as a snow chaser.
To be able to fly inside the clouds where the snowflakes form enables us to study the processes that go into forming the snowflakes that eventually fall down to the earth as snowfall in your backyard.
It's all part of a 5-year, $30 million project called IMPACTS. The team is embarking on its first snowstorm chasing flights this month, focusing on the Northeast and Midwest.
It gets a bit turbulent. The plane's very capable. It has great de-icing systems. We would never put our crew or our passengers or the scientists in an unsafe position, so we do a very good job at mitigating the risks. But yeah, you do have to willing to accept a certain degree of turbulence and bumps here and there.
It's been 30 years since there's been a major study of snowstorms like this one. What they're hoping to find out this time around is not just where the snow is going to fall, but just how intense that snowfall might be.
People think the forecasting is really easy and simple, but it's actually very complicated. And hopefully we will be doing a better job so we can help Joe Citizen know what to do when there is a storm threatening.
Beyond that, scientists also hope to learn how snowfall can impact the water supply all over the planet, and how snow in one part of the world could possibly have an effect on a drought somewhere else.
We need water to survive, and we need to understand how the water goes through the whole Earth system.
An ecosystem where winter wonderlands play a crucial part. On Wallops Island, Virginia, I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
And the message was that of racial equality and standing up for what is right. Today at Crispus Attucks High School, IPS held its annual tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with the theme of Urgency Now. There were musical tributes and talks, but the real speech that brought the house down was the keynote speaker, Brandon Cosby. He touched on current events, comparing the past injustices of slavery to what's happening right now to Mexican and Latino immigrants being detained at the border of the U.S., some stuck in cages.
You see, it was Dr. King who said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So just because those folks don't live on your block, they don't necessarily speak the same language, right? That their skin is not necessarily as brown as yours, does not mean that that is not a threat on your civil rights and your civil liberties and everything that this country is supposed to stand for.
Indianapolis Public Schools says the program is designed to help students, staff, and the community understand the critical importance of applying MLK's teaching to our own lives.
Still ahead, free admission to one of the most fun-filled locations in Indianapolis. What you need to bring with you besides money to get in for free at White River State Park this MLK Day.
That plus one more check of that winter weather advisory with Kevin next right here on RTV6.
Here to drive home a new Nissan.
It's a chance to visit one of Indianapolis's favorite state parks in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
The White River State Park is offering free admission and parking on Monday. The free day is a result of teamwork with Gleaners Food Bank. All you have to do to get in is bring along non-perishable food donations, and this extends to all the major attractions of the park, including the Idle Jork and the Indiana State Museum. Those attractions are open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Anytime you see this, it's worthy of a little paparazzi. Susan Fields says she spotted this eagle in Hope, which is in Bartholomew County. Fields was heading home after a long day of photography on Tuesday when she saw that beautiful bird fly. On Wednesday, her neighbor called her over to get a picture of the eagle perched in a tree. Quite a sight there.
Isn't that funny? And you said she was, a day of photography out looking, and then the neighbor calls, hey, look.
Hey, look what just happened. Popped on the doorstep. Yeah, the tree there.
Don't know why you spend so much time doing that.
You probably won't have to go looking for some snowflakes or light freezing rain, even some sleet this evening. There's that advisory, northern 2/3 of the state. What's in eastern Illinois, sliding into western Indiana, will be our first introduction to some very light snow or sleet. The first introduction to the Arctic air begins later tomorrow afternoon and will be felt the second half of the weekend.
It's coming.
And stay with the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com for updates on this weather.
We will see you tonight at 11.